What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. Today is January 31st, and as we get ready to roll into February, I'm going to ask the question, is Microsoft's next exclusive, Crackdown 3, set up for failure? Now, while I don't know whether the game will be good or not, I'm focusing less on review scores, although we'll be touching on that, and more on the hurdles I see that may prevent the game from being the big hit Microsoft really needs to be, or at least would like it to be, especially after the lackluster performances of the previous two exclusives, State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves. There are 4 things I can see hurting Crackdown 3 sales and overall how it's received. Those are going to be the calendar, lack of marketing, expectations versus reality, and Games Pass plus user engagement. The first, and I think the biggest hurdle facing Crackdown 3 is going to be the calendar and the multitude of games being released. Starting on January 25th, we had Resident Evil 2 Remake. On January 29th, Kingdom Hearts 3. Then we're getting 4 games on February 15th. Those are going to be Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, Jump Force, and Metro Exodus, followed by Anthem on February 22nd. That's 7 games in a 28-day period. Moving into March, we have Devil May Cry 5 on the 8th, The Division 2 on the 15th, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice on the 22nd. That's 10 games in less than 2 months, and these are only the major games. With so many games releasing within a small period of time, I feel it's going to be hard for Crackdown 3 to have any standout sales figures, especially when so many of the games are highly anticipated big hitters. The second hurdle is going to be lack of marketing. Don't ask me why, but I feel like Microsoft really isn't doing a whole lot of marketing running up to the launch of Crackdown 3. Everywhere I look, I see ads and other promotional material for Resident Evil 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, and even Anthem, which doesn't even release till after Crackdown 3. And it's not just me. You can find articles all over the internet from both people in the industry and your average gamer thinking the same thing. Is Microsoft not confident in Crackdown 3? You have to ask yourself, if Halo Infinite or Gears of War 5 are only 15 days away, would they be this little in regards to marketing and promotional material? I highly doubt it. It's one has to wonder why the lack of marketing for Crackdown 3. No matter what the reason is, the lack of marketing or promotional content is going to negatively affect the sales of Crackdown 3, especially in the middle of such a large releasing of games around the same time. The third hurdle is expectation versus reality. There was a game released this generation exclusive to PlayStation 4 called The Last Guardian. This game was in development for 9 years, and when it finally released, it was just an okay game. The problem was after 9 years of delays, the game could never live up to the hype built around it. I fear Crackdown 3 may be the Xbox One's Last Guardian. This game will have been in development for 6 years. To put that in perspective, God of War was only in development for 5 years. Is Crackdown going to have the same level of polish as AAA offerings on the other platforms? Also, this game was originally announced to have 4-player co-op, which was then changed to 2-player co-op. Destruction was originally thought to be throughout the entire game, and then announced to only be a multiplayer, since it relies on the cloud computing to help process all the data needed for the fully destructible environments. Speaking of destructible environments, they also look to have been slightly downgraded since we saw it in 2015. I feel that expectations for the game are going to be really high, especially after being delayed so many times and being told the delays were specifically for polishing the game and the gameplay experience. So people may be expecting a fantastic game and only getting an okay game. If the expectation versus reality is too large a gap, it's going to negatively affect review scores, which in turn hurts the game's success. The final hurdle is going to be Game Pass and user engagement. Crackdown 3 will be available on Microsoft Game Pass day 1. For those who don't know what Game Pass is, it's a monthly subscription-based service that gives you instant access to over 100 games, including every single new game the day of the release. This is also going to drastically affect the sales numbers, and not only that, affect Microsoft's ability to boast about sales numbers. For the PlayStation 4, both God of War and Spider-Man had great sales figures, and Sony was able to brag about them, which in turn generated more hype and enthusiasm surrounding those games, which probably helped sell additional copies. Also, Microsoft no longer focuses on sales numbers. They instead look to user engagement as a metric for success. The problem is, even if user engagement is high, that means absolutely nothing to consumers. Between Game Pass and user engagement, it hinders Microsoft's ability to tote the success of Crackdown 3, if it is indeed a success, which in turn hinders the ability to keep the hype about the game up, pushing additional sales. In the end, no one can know for sure what Crackdown 3's future will be. For all we know, it could be an absolute beast of a game and a major system seller for the Xbox One. It could also be another flop. All I know is it's going to be quite an uphill battle for Crackdown 3 to make a large splash with these hurdles in its way. Oh well, we'll find out Crackdown 3's fate soon, because February 15th is right around the corner and fast approaching. Well, that's the video, guys. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Supernova.